Your turn. I had the opportunity to sit down with an Israeli YouTuber and speak to him in English about a debate going on between Reform Jews in America and Jews in Israel, Orthodox Jews in Israel. So his name is David Ha'ivri, and I don't speak Hebrew too much, but I do know that Ha is the, and Ivri is Hebrew. So his name is David the Hebrew. And we had a little chat about this debate. A little background information for anybody who's listening who's not Orthodox. I mean, even if they're Jewish, they may not realize this. But in an Orthodox Jewish synagogue, men and women have separate sections, and they have a little wall between them, or maybe a big wall, depending on how religious the synagogue is. But they have a wall between them that's called a mechitza. The shuls I've always been to, there's been like a curtain and kind of a window in the wall, and then the rabbi is in the front, and both sections can see like the rabbi or whatever, usually. And women can peek through the window if they... The curtains are usually on the side where the women can pull the curtains and peek on the men's side, and not vice versa. So that's a little bit of a background information that would help someone who is not Jewish for this interview. Without further ado, here we go. Here's the interview. So, I had found, the first one was the one from the Washington Post. I was arguing with a Reform Jew on Facebook. It was like not a Facebook friend of mine, but a Facebook friend of a Facebook friend. And she shoved that in my face, like, here, you see, I'm not even sure what her point was. And then later on, I was looking for something else, and I found this other article, old article, IsraelNews.com.
Okay.
Sheva. I'm probably murdering the pronunciation of that. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, these look like it's kind of the same. It looks like it's maybe the same issue, but two different sides of it. So I thought, first I thought I could ask someone, and then I'm like, you know what, it could even turn into, could be like a chat. So.
All right. So let's talk about it. You sent me these two articles, one from Arutz Sheva, from Israel National News, and one from the Washington Post, that were discussing the two sides of the same discussion regarding, I guess I would frame it as the relations between the government of Israel and the Reform Judaism in America. And,
right.
And some tension that is going on between those two. So what's your interest in the story? You read the stories and you asked to speak with me about that. How can I help?
Well, first thing is, does it look to you like it is indeed the two sides of the same story? I mean, that's to confirm that,
I would agree with you. Sure, it's the same story, and it's showing two perspectives of the story. The story you sent me from Arutz Sheva, from Israel National News, I think was interesting because of the person who was quoted there, who they were speaking with, a Rabbi Moses, who is a member of the United Torah Party, which is the ultra-Orthodox party in the Knesset. And his comments on the issue I found interesting. And then the Washington Post was quoting...
so why...
Yeah, go ahead, ask.
Well, I was just, wondering, I was going to say, why are they interesting? I see... I mean, they quoted different people in the... I have the Washington Post one up. Wrong article. they quoted different rabbis in both of them. Like, the other one has multiple, and I mean, I noticed like they're talking about and stuff. I mean, and I'm not Reform, so I'd actually be like on Israel's side for this, but a girl who shoved a Post article in my, well, I don't understand what's the problem. I think the issue is the women rabbis, not the scrolls, but I couldn't get out of her because like she didn't even know. She just saw that Israel and Reform rabbis were clashing and shoved it in my face to basically say, we're not good Jews if we don't side with the Reform Jews, or we don't want them or something.
I think that it seems to me that the Reform Jews, the American Reform Jews, are trying to force a situation that it could really be avoided. It seems that Netanyahu and the Israeli government really provided a fix for the problem that they had presented. They asked for space to pray in a matter that's uncustomary for the ultra-Orthodox Jews who normally pray at the Western Wall. And the Reform Jews asked for space to pray in a mixed prayer group, men and women together. And the solution that was provided for them was another segment of the Western Wall that's called the southern part of the Western Wall, and it's physically separated from the area where the ultra-Orthodox are, because there's an archaeological site in between, so you can't see one side from the other. And the Reform Jews were not happy with that solution, and they insist on praying in a mixed group in the same area that the Orthodox are praying separately.
Like shut down the area temporarily, I think, because you can't. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I've conservative shul a couple of times, but mostly I've only been to Orthodox shuls. So, but they also threw this thing in there about them having their own scrolls. So I was like, so which is the problem? I figured it was the women rabbis. Kept asking this girl, so which is the problem? You can't use our scrolls, or what?
What? Right. What is the problem? I think that the problem is that the Reform Jews want to be seen in the same area as a legitimate part of the prayer area. But if you kind